Hello, amazing souls. Welcome to the Soul Vibe Insights Podcast, a show to demystify the soul, intuition, and the Akashic Records. We know a thing or two about the ups and downs of being on a spiritual growth plan and how to find the higher perspective, even when it seems like there isn't one. I'm your host, Maddie Hollingsworth.
And I'm your host, Emily Pearl. We've been professional intuitives and energy healers for over 20 years now. We believe each of us are on a unique path of growth and learning, and our intuition is meant to be our guide. The problem is, most of us have never learned how to use it. That's where we come in, helping you discover how your intuition works and the lessons your soul has chosen to learn in this life is what we're all about.
All right, y'all, let's jump right into today's show.
Hey there, amazing souls, and welcome to today's show. Emily and I are excited to be with you again, and we're going to be talking about one of our favorite subjects, something we have undoubtedly been bringing up in the past through our podcast episodes, and that is co-creating your life with your soul, aka your higher self.
Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome.
We wanted to just dive in and talk a little bit more about this, kind of explain what it means to be co-creating a life with your soul, give some examples, talk about why it's important. Why would you even want to care about co-creating life with your soul? And then we've got 7 actionable steps that you can begin to take to either start your journey or to further your journey along in co-creating your life with your soul. We're excited to be sharing these with you. Not much of a life update other than we are doing good. We're on the Front Range of Colorado, enjoying the mountains. We did take a nice hike the other day and found some trees to get in, which is really nice. There's not always a ton of trees out here in the High Plains desert. And if you get into the mountains, you can get under that canopy. That's something we miss from back east, being under the canopy of trees and walking amongst them and getting all those lovely negative ions. So we did that the other day, which was really beautiful for our souls.
Yeah, I think the biggest life update is that this is our 3rd time staying in this home, and we have seen a lot more animals this time compared to the last time we were here, because we're out on 300 acres of land, and a lot of it's farmland, so a lot of it is very flat. First off, the other night we were sitting on the couch watching a show, and a bobcat just came and stuck its face into the window. And it was like, oh, hey guys, what's going on?
It was totally like, hey there, and just kind of looked at both of us a couple of times, spent, 5 or 6 seconds at the most. And then at that point, Emily realized what it was. And she's like, oh shit, and hops up and goes to the window and sees it walking away and its little bobtail and stuff. But it was totally just a comical scenario. Absolutely. Oh, hey guys, how's it going right there? Totally had that vibe and energy.
If that tells you anything about us, it's literally our favorite thing to see animals. And then Saturday was the greatest day ever because we were sitting having breakfast. Wait, is that what we were doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, we were having breakfast, and then all of a sudden in the far distance I see something sitting and then see it lay down, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's not a bird. So we got out the binoculars, and it was a fox. And literally the entire day, this fox just laid out in the field, in the sun, and we were able to, watch it with binoculars. Oh, no, we were doing a reading. We were doing that pyramid reading.
Oh, that's true.
And it showed up, during, we were doing a Akashic tarot reading, and it just, showed up, while we were doing it. It was so cool. And we literally just watched this fox through binoculars, every few minutes.
Yeah, for about 3 hours. We had just eaten, that's right. We just finished breakfast, and it showed up when we turned over the balance card to have more balance in our lives and to make sure we both kind of interpreted that as one of the things was make sure we're still getting out in nature. Don't get stuck in the routine of being in the house and keeping our nose to the grind, working away on our little passion projects. So it was a good reminder. And then all of a sudden, Emily jumps up and notices something that's not a bird, because there's a lot of hawks and things like that we do get to see around here. And sure enough, we got to hang out with a red fox, watching it. That was super cool.
Yeah, just lounging in the sun for most of the day.
Yeah.
It was so cool. And then the praying mantis.
Yep.
We were going to check on the kitties because they live in this giant shed outside. They're indoor, outdoor kitties. And this praying mantis was just like literally like waiting for us to come out the door. It was like just sitting there like facing the door waiting for us. We're like, oh, hey there.
Yeah, it's funny
Hey
how
there, guy.
they're supposed to be rather elusive, something you just kind of happen upon. And
Well, so are fox and bobcat.
yeah, exactly. So we've had 3 encounters with rather elusive creatures here in the last, 10 days or so?
Yeah. But the bobcat was the funniest. It's like, oh, hey there. Hey there, guys. What you doing? And we're like, we're just watching TV. Is that a kitty? Wait, no. That is a wildcat. That is a bobcat because its head was like much bigger than a domestic cat. It was so cool. Okay. We should dive in. But if that tells you anything about us, that literally like makes our entire day is to see an animal in the wild and just to get to spend time with the animals that we're loving on and keeping at the moment. Always brings us joy.
So yeah, life update. We're doing good, and we've had some really cool animal experiences.
Yeah. All right. So co-creating your life with your soul, aka higher self. So what does this mean?
For me, one of the first things is to understand that your soul has a personality of its own. That your soul came here with desires and hopes and dreams for what you would learn, what you would achieve, what you would do in your life, and more importantly, just how you would be. Just being you, just letting that soul self shine through into your human life, just being your unique, badass vibration of soul energy is a huge part of it. So understanding that you are not your mind, you are not the conditioning of how you were raised. These are things that your soul uses or chose to go through to help set up the parameters for your life. You chose your family. You use your mind. It's an awesome kick-ass tool.
For sure.
But it is not you.
And I really don't think this is like a too out there concept either, because so many people talk about like my soul is in pain or like there's something wrong with my soul. Like people talk like that, whether they really kind of conceptualize it as being like a part of them or not. I mean, so many people talk about like, oh, my job is soul sucking or this is soul sucking. People bring up the concept of their soul a lot. So I don't think that this is like a completely out there concept, that this is a part of them that they want to incorporate into their life.
Absolutely. As you're talking, I'm hearing people that I've heard, there's an ache in my soul.
Yeah.
There's something missing. There's something lacking in my soul. My soul vibe feels low. These are things that I've heard for sure. And soul sucking, absolutely.
I feel like I have definitely been on the speaking end of saying that, especially when I was in the restaurant business for so long.
Well, the first time I started hearing it was the whole working brunch shifts.
Oh,
Brunch
gosh.
just sucks your soul.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh my God, it really does. I like my job, but I can't stand this part of it. This aspect just blows. And then it became that it was really just the job. Getting up early and doing brunch shift just was the worst part of it then. But that was my first experience with hearing things like that.
Well, yeah, when you're used to working nights like 6 days a week, and then one day you have to get up at like 8 a.m. after getting off of work at like 1 a.m. on Saturday night, it is difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because it was so fast paced and people were so like needy. It's like, I need water and orange juice and a Bloody Mary and coffee all at once. And you're like, really? I'm bringing 8 fucking drinks to a 2-top?
Yeah.
So
we won't digress down that line too long, but wow, yeah, that brings back memories. Oh my
I feel
goodness.
like I'm getting trauma responses thinking about it. But anyway, so the idea of soul sucking, and honestly, I just feel like we've kind of noticed this trend with a lot of people that we've been around and seen. And I don't know whether it's from the pandemic and just the fact that I think one of the things that the pandemic really taught us is that we don't know what to expect. Like, life can throw humongous curveballs, and we're not operating on this this idea that we know what to expect at all times anymore. Because I feel like since the pandemic happened, more curveballs keep happening. I mean, the Aurora Borealis has shown up like multiple times now, and there's like these crazy, devastating natural disasters happening as well. So it's like really, I mean, it's throwing us all for a loop. We're like, holy shit, we can't, there's like nothing we can like point at and count on anymore. I mean, anything can happen at this point.
That brings me to an important point that I want to make and reiterate, is that tapping into your soul is this deep part of you. It is your personality. It's the foundation for who you are. You are not your mind. You are not your thoughts. Your mind is this awesome tool that really can be useful in your life, but you need to get your mind on board with your soul's desires. And the mind itself, if it's left to run the program, it wants safety. It wants routine. It wants what it knows to keep you in this loop. And sometimes it's a mundane loop. Sometimes it's a crazy, exciting loop of what's next and boom, boom, boom. So you can never really have to think about the soul. So it just depends on what your normal parameters for your mind is what it thinks is safety, but it'll keep you in this loop and in these routines. But like Emily's saying, since the pandemic, who can really count on things now? What can you count on as far as a routine or something safety that can't be taken away, that couldn't change? So we are experiencing tons of things these last 4 years of our lives with the world. So it has created a little bit more chaos within the mind, within the mental field of the planet, as well as us as individuals. And the way to counteract that is to tap into your soul, is to get good with your soul self and to start connecting there.
So you can like validate and have your own sense of security and wisdom from within.
And uniqueness. And this may not be a routine that you count on. This just may be counting on your vibration to lead you in the right direction, to lead you where you need to go, to lead you to more joy.
But I feel like it is worth mentioning, no matter what, even before the pandemic, the one constant in life is change. I mean, change is just a part of life. And that's just something that we all have to either surrender to, or if you fight it, then it definitely makes life a little bit more difficult.
It did for me. Resisting change, what you resist persists. It definitely made things more difficult for me. And I couldn't see that the things that I wanted in life, more than what I had now, my dreams, my desires, that I actually needed change to create the space for those to come into my life. So I would resist the change, but in the end, I was just resisting anything newer in my life, anything that I dreamed about. My passions that I wasn't sharing at the time, I was also keeping these at bay because I was afraid of change. And it is one of the constant things. So if you can surrender to change, you've got a great outlook on life already.
Yeah, for sure.
In my regard.
So reeling it back in, co-creating your life with your soul, like Maddie was saying, is understanding that your soul has a personality and has its own wisdom, has its own guidance and direction, that once you can tap into this knowledge, it is there for your disposal. Your soul wants you to succeed. I mean, it is there to help you with the tools, help you toward your goals.
Yeah, it wants you to feel success and satisfaction and joy and love and to learn from things. And sometimes there's other feelings in there too, but it's about growth and getting back to success and satisfaction and joy and love. These are the hardwired things that are programmed into our souls to try to achieve in this life. And being our unique selves is to tap into these vibrations. But life is everything, and your soul knows that. Your soul knows that, challenges may not feel joyous when you're going through them, and, when you're learning a lesson or having an obstacle show up in your life, that there may be some frustration and unsatisfaction. But as you work through things and grow, then you can enjoy more success and satisfaction, knowing where you came from to who you are now. What you've put into motion through your own power in your life and created change is a dang good feeling to have. So your soul's always going to offer guidance when you're tapping into it based on your highest good.
Yes, always your highest good. It literally knows your entire journey, where you've been, where you came from, everything about your entire journey as a spiritual being. So when you start to tap into your soul and the wisdom of your higher self, it really is looking out for your highest good and wants what is best for your growth.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are countless lifetimes of knowledge, of experience to tap into that your soul has ready at your disposal and knows the trajectory for your path, for your growth. It's really just freaking awesome. So a few things that co-creation may look like in your life. This could be listening to those recurring thoughts, the ones that give you those excited butterflies in your belly. Might scare you just a little bit with those excited butterflies. That little nervous excitement, oh my gosh, I want this, eek feeling at the same time.
Yeah, like those insane possibilities where you're like, oh my gosh, that could be me.
Absolutely.
And so another way this could play out is putting effort into those dreams even though no one else understands. I mean, you may have your friends and family looking at you like, you're wasting your time, what are you even doing? But you are tapped into this and you're like, no, I know deep down that this is getting me to where I want to go. This is getting me towards my dreams. And it's really tapping into that inner authority and inner wisdom and just continuing to move forward even though no one else understands.
100%. And if you're getting pushback, just remember that the mind wants routine. It wants safety. It wants what's normal. And if you're breaking out of what's been normal, you may get pushback from others because they won't understand. And that's breaking the routine of what they can count on with your normal self. And that could stir uneasiness within them. And some people will support that and they'll be excited for you to break out and do new things. Lean into those. Don't lean into the negativity. Don't let people hold you back. Just if you get some pushback, it's just because their minds are not there. They're not tapping into their soul and seeing that we're all meant to be unique and we all have our own paths. There may be some similarities, but we're not all meant to be in the same routine.
And so one other way, well, there's so many other ways, but another example would be owning your individuality in an authentic and meaningful way. This can be really difficult sometimes. I mean, I know this is definitely something that Maddie and I have struggled with, that we continue to struggle with. For the last 3 years, we've really overcome a lot of hurdles when it comes to, okay, this is just who we are. This is what we like. This is what we like talking about.
Yeah, we're the people that want to talk about your soul.
Yeah.
And intuition and the Akashic records and what you're up to when you're in a light body. And so many more things we're going to be getting into, but we're those people.
Yeah. And even though we've tried to fight it for so many years because we're not your typical like spiritual people. I mean, everyone has their like ideas about what a spiritual person is, but I'd like to go ahead and just break down those barriers and say there is no one right way to be spiritual. You can be spiritual exactly as you are, doing exactly what you're doing. It's about tapping into your divinity and tapping into the realization that you can have a connection with God no matter who you are or what you do. Your connection to God is your own, and you have that ability to tap in.
1,000%. Every single one of us can have a unique connection to God, Goddess, the universe. That is us. However that lights you up, that's the right way for you. There isn't a religion that owns the rights to it. There isn't a one person that is teaching. There isn't a group of people that are teaching that own the right way to it. There may be people that you resonate with that help you see things in a different way and make different connections. It's awesome to have guides and mentors and pick things up. That's wonderful. But in the end, it's all about how you connect.
Yeah.
That authenticity and meaningful way to yourself and how you let that soul shine through. That's your divinity. That's your connection.
Yeah, and then really honoring that within yourself, really honoring your divinity and realizing just how incredible that is, just how incredible you are as a spiritual being and how much wisdom and just magic you have within you. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. I'm feeling blessed to be able to talk to you in this way and just say, thank you for being here. Thank you for being you and bringing your magic to earth right now. I'm honored.
Indeed. So before we get into the 7 actionable ways you can start co-creating your life with your soul, we're just going to talk about a few things that happen as bonus features. This is a byproduct of co-creating your life with your soul. So the first one is that your intuitive accuracy improves. Because when you're co-creating with your soul, you are basically cutting through the bullshit and getting straight to what it is that you need for your highest good and potential. And so everything else on the outside is just noise. When you really tap into your highest good and your potential and that inner knowing with your soul, then all that other noise just kind of falls away and your intuitive accuracy improves.
Absolutely. That's what using your intuition is about. It's about figuring out your highest good, your next step, what's right for you. So as you are co-creating with your soul, naturally your intuitive accuracy does start to improve. And like Emily said, you cut through the bullshit and all the noise that you're living in with your mind starts to be more on the edges. You start to develop that trust with your intuition, with your connection to yourself and your soul. Something else that's naturally going to happen is more and more you're going to say goodbye to mediocrity, to the mundane routine. You may still have a routine, you may still have that job that you get up and go to and you do breakfast, and if you got kids, you get them ready and get them towards school. I'm not saying that you'll never have a routine again, but not feeling the excitement in your life for what you're up to, not enjoying your passions, these things are going to start to develop more. So feeling mediocrity and mundaneness is going to start to dissipate because that's not what your soul is about. Your soul wants you in your passions. It wants you in your joys. It wants you living life that lights you up as often as you can. And you will find ways to tap into those times to bring that into your life.
Absolutely. And so the last bonus feature of co-creating your life with your soul is quantum manifesting becomes easier because you are actually tapping into your soul, your intuition. And when you start tapping into your intuition, then you can make bigger strides towards these huge, exciting possibilities in your life that you never maybe even thought possible on your own. And so all you have to do is just start one step at a time, like basically saying, this is what I want, and then your soul via your intuition helps you get there faster.
Absolutely. So just a few little byproducts, bonus features of co-creating life with your soul, things that just naturally start to be apparent in your life.
So maybe you're listening to this and you're like, wow, all this sounds great. So how do I start co-creating with my soul? Well, so we're going to start now with 7 ways that you can get started today.
All right, number 1, when in doubt, move towards joy. And as I say that, we both know that probably sounds cliche as hell right there. Move towards joy. But the truth is, doing more of the things that make you happy and bring you joy attracts more things, situations, and joy into your life. You magnetically create a resonance with this because you're leaning yourself towards joy and you're actively choosing things that bring you joy whenever you can, as much as you can, little bit by little bit. You're signaling to the rest of the universe, to that magnetism that is you, to bring more things that you enjoy into your life, more situations that can create this, you can experience this.
And so what if you were like us when we first started this journey and you're like, I don't even know what the hell brings me joy. So our advice is to start with the basics. And cartwheels for me is definitely one of the basics. I love doing cartwheels, so that is definitely a fun thing. Riding your bike, smelling flowers, getting out in nature and just taking a beautiful walk. I mean, another one for us would be to see a fox in the distance and watch it through binoculars, or just if animals bring you joy, maybe going somewhere where you can be around animals. Trying a new recipe that you've had your eye on. And then when you start with the basics, you can start to cultivate more joy, more happiness into your life, and then you can progress to something bigger, like taking a class that you feel really excited to learn, or splurging on dinner at this place that you have been really excited to try, or planning that trip to that place that you've always wanted to go, that you've been talking about for years and years and years.
Get on the jet plane and go.
Or in your car, wherever that is. But it's just about cultivating and bringing more joy into your life. And like Maddie said, the more joy, the more happiness that you have in your life, it attracts more into your life.
Absolutely. Your magnetism goes out and brings more in. The only other thing I would say is try to get lost in the moment of joy when you're there. Be present. Don't let your mind worry about what's coming next or what you have to do or what you should do. Do what you want to do. And if it's cartwheels up and down the driveway, get lost in the moment doing cartwheels. I can do cartwheels now. How cool is that? I'm 48 years old and can do cartwheels. I think that's pretty darn cool. Well, I've been able to do it for a few years now, but yeah. All right, let's move on.
To the second way that you can start co-creating your life with your soul is to understand that your soul has a personality as well. And your soul has a story that began far before you in your human body ever existed. So you are a continuation of its story, not the other way around. And your soul holds the higher perspective of the trajectory of your many lives. Your soul has so much wisdom and so much guidance for you if you are willing to tap into it. Your soul knows your soul's purpose for incarnating. It knows your unique life lessons, what your intuitive gifts are, why things keep happening in your life over and over. These are your challenges. These are the themes that you essentially came to immerse yourself in, to take on these qualities in your life. So co-creating your life with your soul helps you to understand so much more about your bigger picture, and life becomes a lot more fun because all of a sudden the roadblocks in your life become something that has meaning, and that you realize that you are very capable of facing these challenges.
Ding, ding, ding. You are not a victim of your experience. You are the master of your destiny. And that right there, if you can take your perception and start to understand that your soul created this awesome life full of all these potential experiences for you, but we're here with free will, choosing what to do. And sometimes we get caught up in the mind.
Yeah,
the mind's not on board with that plan.
Yeah,
it's not a part of it.
I mean, you can choose to have a shitty time.
Yeah.
You can choose to not enjoy it, not see it for what it is. I mean, this has definitely been a challenge of mine, for sure.
That's a hard script to flip right there. It's pretty easy to look at the joyous things and the fun things and the stuff you love in your life and be like, yeah, I created this. I was about all these decisions. This is me, I am the master of my own destiny. Look at what I've done. That's pretty easy. But when life is challenging and hard, it's not so easy to just look at that and go, well, I created this. But the reality is we did. We were just as much a part of choosing the obstacles and challenges as we are these good, awesome, kick-ass things in our life. So having that perception to know that it's all for us, it's all for our good and our growth, you can really, what you'll start to do is have these challenges and obstacles won't be so much of a negative experience, because now you're viewing life this co-creation with your soul in a positive way all the way around, not just picking and choosing certain things that you're enjoying in life. It doesn't mean that you're going to enjoy your obstacles and challenges. They may still be difficult, but knowing that they're for your growth and that on the other side of it is success and satisfaction, and looking at the new you in the mirror is pretty cool.
For sure. And if you are someone who gets lost in hopelessness or sadness or any of those emotions, just know that you are not alone. Like, we all get caught up in those like really low vibrational emotions, but I am here to tell you, you do have the power to change that. You do have the power to create more joy and create happiness. And if you need to hear this, you deserve those things. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to have joy in your life. No matter what has happened, no matter what anyone else has done to you, and I use quotes, but that's them. Other people's actions are on them. Like, you deserve happiness, you deserve joy, exactly as you are right now on your path.
Boom. Well said, honey.
Thanks, baby.
So, number 3, listen to the whispers of inspiration. These are the whispers that make your heart race with excitement, but again, probably mixed with a little bit of fear. These are the ones that you feel that frisson, that tingle within, that excitement, just thinking of the possibilities that could come from it. Your soul communicates through gentle nudges of inspiration. Something that this could look like is, remember how you said you always wanted to write a book on so-and-so? And then a few months later, so the first chapter of your book could be called X. It could also look like you're just dancing away at a concert, just getting down, shaking your booty to your favorite band, having so much fun. And then out of nowhere, bam, an idea or a solution, along with how to make it happen, just drops into your mind. And then you don't think about it again because you're at a concert with one of your favorite bands and you're shaking it up, having a good time. And then you get home, you're showering away all that sweat from the evening, and then more details come along. And then you wake up and that thought's still there. And more details pop in. That is inspiration, my beautiful soul friend.
Ooh, I have a good example of this, actually.
Lay it on us, babe.
This is back when we owned our house. Our front door, when we bought the house, it had like these flowers on it.
Oh my gosh, they were awful.
But it looked like these flowers were like puff painted on there. Like, I don't even know how else to say this. So for years, we would look through the front door and we had like this beautiful view of 90 acres of conserved land. And it was just like these puff paint flowers were completely blocking our view. And it was like years. I mean, we would have the front door open and we would constantly just be like a little bit like, because we couldn't really see the view. It was very much blocking the view. And then it was just one day I was there by myself when Maddie was at work, and it just hit me out of nowhere. You know what you can do? You could take a razor blade and scrape off those flowers on the front door. And it was like magic. It was like this inspirational magic because I realized I had the power to change this. And like, it never even hit me before that I could actually do that. And so sure enough, we had an X-Acto knife. So I took the razor blade out, and like when Maddie came home, I had been working for hours. I mean, it took me 2 days to get all of this puff paint off of the front door, but it opened up the glass, and then we had a clear view out the front door, and it was awesome.
It was super cool because we loved our view, and there were no blinds on the door and stuff, so it was unobstructed right down the middle of the porch, just into this huge opening. So no pillars or things in the way, but this ugly frame of flowers. And we endured this for a couple of years, like Emily said, and then she got that hit of inspiration, of a possibility that could be, and that she had the power to do it. And it was like, and then I came home to, it was more than half gone. And then the next day she finished it up. That was something she was into doing and fulfilling that inspiration. And then for the next, 4.5, 5 years before we sold our house, we had an awesome view without that flowery pictured frame. And normally I think flowers are great, but this was just
It was just super old school, and it helps Lilu too, because Lilu, our little beagle, she could lay and look out the front door now and have an unobstructed view out the front. So it just really helps. So that's just like one of the thousands of examples, but that's what it made me think of.
Yeah,
because that was very helpful.
And just remember that inspiration will come to you in your unique way. It'll be whatever inspires you. Roll with it. Have fun with it. Play with it. Make a relationship with your inspirations and tap into them more often. And you know what? They'll come more often. And whatever it is, if you keep getting little nudges that have to do with the same thing or something similar, pay attention. This is inspiration trying to come through from your soul. And it may not be the exact same thing, but it'll be along that same line. They'll be similar. But if you take anything from listening to the whispers of inspiration, when they're on the similar wavelength, pay attention. Be like, oh crap, yeah. I was just thinking about that the other day. This is coming through again. Okay. That's pay attention, y'all.
And it could even seem seemingly meaningless, but you never know like where it can go from there.
The path of every journey begins with a step. All right, rolling right along. So tip number 4 is follow your intuitive guidance. We just talked about how your soul communicates through inspiration. Another big way your soul is going to communicate with you is through intuition. And when you are working with your intuition, remember that you have free will here to make choice. So your intuition is going to come one step at a time. You're going to get that intuitive hit, and then depending on what you choose to do, your next intuitive hit will come. So what happens is it may seem like it's just something small. And what your intuition wants is for you to develop trust with that intuitive guidance, with your own internal guidance. Get out of your mind and get into your heart, into your intuition. And the more you develop this trust and the more you work with your intuition and you take the steps and the guidance and roll with it, the steps and guidance will get bigger, push you to do more. Expand who you are, expand your possibilities of what you can achieve, on how much joy you can feel in your life, on how much satisfaction and success you can create. So that's the big thing, is your soul's communicating with you through intuition. Work with these steps, develop that trust along the way. This can be really challenging because none of us were really taught to trust our intuition. Very few people grow up with parents, and I hope that is shifting. But growing up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, kind of in the time frame of where, Emily and I came from, or even in the 90s, there weren't a lot of parents that were, hey, trust your intuition. It was more, do this because I told you to. Or I'm your mom, or I'm your dad, and you have to do this. Or your school teacher tells you this, or your coach tells you what to do. There weren't any role models in my life, at least for sure, that were telling me, well, how do you feel about this situation? What's your intuition telling you? Go with that. I never heard that growing up. I was never taught that. So developing trust and even understanding how my intuition worked was a challenge for me when I began that journey. And part of it too is I was expecting the end game. Instead, I was getting one step, and I'm like, well, what happens after that? And after that? And after that? And my intuition was like, take a step and find out.
Yeah, that's so true. Because you have the choice on how to react to that step that you're giving. Are you going to trust that step and take it? Or are you going to fight against it and not take it? Or are you going to take the step and not do it exactly? Or are you going to skip on that step? Or run? Or it just depends on how you take that step. And then based on the outcome of that step, then you get the next step through your intuition. And the more that you cultivate that trust and the more that you take those steps, then the bigger the steps become, the bigger the opportunities are presented before you, and the bigger impact on the trajectory of your life that it makes.
This whole time you're developing trust with your soul. Your soul's communicating with you through your intuition, and you're developing that trust with co-creating your life with your soul. Simple things that this could look like. I should call that person that I haven't spoken to in years. What? Out of the blue? Do it. I should not go straight home. I'm getting an intuitive hit to go somewhere else right after work. Do it. I should sell my house and give away all my belongings and start traveling. Yeek. What? Okay, do it. That's actually what Emily and I did, and it's been over 3 years now of traveling the world. That was a really scary intuitive hit to get hit first. That one definitely brought butterflies of excitement and fear, for sure, when that inspiration and intuition came.
That's true, but what even seemed more scary was to continue down the same path that we were on. That seemed way more scary than giving away all of our belongings and begin traveling and building our business.
Absolutely. Definitely. Once you got past the initial wave of what that step was going to look like to begin to get ready to sell the house, I can't keep going like this. That's scarier than going for it.
And so tip number 5 is delight in the possibilities of your imagination. So we've talked about how your soul speaks to you through inspiration. We've talked about how your soul speaks to you through your intuition, but your soul also speaks to you through your imagination. Because if you can't imagine something to be possible, then how in the world are you ever going to bring it into existence? And so it first begins in your imagination. So basically this works like if you can visualize something and you can continue to focus on it and you can keep your thoughts on it, then the probabilities of it happening not only are going to increase, but it turns into a matter of when it's going to happen.
Ding, ding, ding. You are imagining it into the world and making it possible. And now it's about when.
Yeah, I mean, nothing comes into the physical without first being a part of your imagination. Like, you have to be able to visualize it and imagine that it can happen for you in order for it to become something that actually does happen for you. So if you can imagine it, then it is possible. And yes, I'm talking to you. This includes your wildest dreams, those things that you are like, oh my gosh, that would be so cool if that happened. Yes, it is possible for you. And the more you can add to your imagination in the way of vividness, the more you increase the probabilities of something happening. So if you can feel it, see it, smell it, delight in it, imagine that you are touching it, walking into it, being it, whatever it is, imagine that it is already a part of you, and so it shall be. And so each of us have our own desires, wants, goals, and dreams, and your soul is the guiding force towards those desires, towards those goals, towards your dreams. So allow yourself to imagine your wildest dreams coming true.
Your imagination is just another way that your soul illuminates your inner light. So dare to dream the unimaginable. All right, number 6. And this is a really good one right here. This is an actionable step. Number 6, decide, align your thoughts, take action, be a badass. When you decide on what you want, when you're trusting your soul's intuition and you're using your imagination and you're getting inspired and now you know what you want and you have these desires, you have these dreams, align your thoughts around them and then take the necessary actions that your intuition is giving you to show the universe what you want, and you will become an unstoppable force. You are taking the energy of your emotions, these desires, your mental thoughts, and your physical actions, and go ahead and speak it as well. multiply the energies around what you're doing. When we talked about how quantum manifesting becomes more possible, this is it. You are getting aligned right here. You're not just having your wildest dreams, imaginations, or doing a little bit of intuition work. You are starting to take all of this and put it together. And you are aligning all of it together and adding more and more and more energy, multiplying towards it.
I think one of the hardest things to do is deciding what it is you want sometimes. So I think it's important to realize that even learning what it is that you don't want puts you even closer to what you do want. I mean, even though it may feel like this useless lesson that takes you off course to be like, oh, well, I definitely don't want that. Well, that's a lesson in itself too. And sometimes I feel like we do have to go through those lessons in order to understand what it is we do want. I mean, sometimes people think that they want something and they get right to it and they're like, oh, crap, I don't want this. I don't like this. And then it throws them off course completely because it's something that they always thought that they wanted for as long as they can remember. But you just have to not get too much in your head about it and realize, okay, well, now I know what I don't want. And then you can get closer to what it is that you do want. And just know that your soul is rooting for you at all times. It literally wants you to succeed, and it has all the wisdom already built in to help you get there and do it. You just have to learn how to listen through those inspirational hits, through your intuition, through your imagination, through your desires, through your wants.
And just roll on, live your life. Grow through the challenges and obstacles and lessons. Lean into joy. Start to see more success and satisfaction in your life. Say goodbye to the mediocrity. And know that no matter what's happening, it's for you. You can learn from it and move on. Or you can delight in it and further it. Whatever you want from life, it's up to you. You are the badass. You are the master of your own destiny. You have the energy to make changes in your life. You are in control. And your soul is there to help you and rooting for you. It wants to co-create life with you.
And so this next step is also a way that you can help yourself if you don't know what you want or what your desires are. And we are huge advocates of this, and that is to clear and protect yourself spiritually. And the reason for this is because spiritual protection helps you refocus your subconscious mind to allow the energies that you want into your life and to clear the ones that you don't want. And so in the effort of doing this, if you're clearing the energies that you don't want and you're actively and consciously making the choice, oops, I just hit my microphone. If you're actively and consciously making the choice to allow certain energies and certain thoughts into your life, then it kind of clears out the way to your desires. It kind of clears the way to help you understand what is yours, what isn't yours, and helps open the path up to your desires and makes it easier to figure it out.
Yeah, I like to think about life as we all have an energetic backpack. Everything's energy. All of these thoughts and emotions and other people's projections on who they think you are or what you should be doing or need to be doing, as well as all that stuff that's coming from you. All the social media we see or the news we watch or what our family and friends are going through and saying, all of these things influence us. All of it's energy. And whether you realize it or not, it's kind of like throwing it in your energy backpack. And if you keep this and carry this around, you can start to think that these things are you too. When in reality, it probably has very little to do with your unique soul's vibration and co-creating life with your soul. So having a spiritual protection, a way to clear your energy, is like taking this backpack off and lightening the load, dumping it out and putting it back on. And now it's just you. It's just your energy. It's what originates within you, your soul's desires, your imagination, your inspiration, your intuition, without all the noise from everything else.
It really is a great way to reset. I mean, Maddie and I use spiritual protection definitely on a daily basis, even more than once on a daily basis. Like anytime we're starting to let thoughts intrude, or anytime we're starting to feel less than, or anytime we go out in public and we're like, oh, I don't know, I just feel weird after that encounter. Anytime any kind of residual emotions or influential energies or someone says something weird, we just clear it and we protect ourselves.
And we're not talking about something that takes all day to do. This is a little 3 to 5 minute practice once you get it down, and this is working with divine energy.
Yeah, it may not even take that long.
Yeah, it's an unlimited source of energy, and it is your divine right as a spiritual being here on the earth plane to work with divine energy. But you have to make the choice. You have to ask for help. We have a little protocol that we run through. Like I said, 3 to 5 minutes, something just super quick. Clear the energy. It also stimulates our vagus nerve and our parasympathetic response, so it calms down our central nervous system. It takes care of mental and emotional overwhelm because you're pulling yourself into the present moment. You're not projected into the anxiety of the future or the fears of the past. This is a wonderful practice to have, and it is the reason that we created our first online course, Introduction to Spiritual Protection for Intuitive Accuracy. If this is something that you're resonating with or feeling called to, there will be a link in the description.
Yeah, and it's just a quick course. It takes a few days. We have it spaced out to where the first part comes, and then you have some, a couple days to practice, and then the next part comes, 3 days later?
Yep.
So it is spread out just a little bit to give you time to really acclimate to the practice and to really get in touch with what it is like to work with divine beings. And it's a really, really powerful protocol. So powerful.
Yeah.
I mean, it's changed our lives.
It's a $44 course, and at the end of this, you will be able to take charge of your energetic well-being. And we set this up so you can include your family in this too. You can help,
and your animal friends, your pets.
You can help those that are nearest and dearest to you as well. We would love to share this with you. Love to see you inside the program. There will be a link in the description. We've had so much fun talking about one of our favorite subjects today, co-creating with your soul. We hope you found the 7 actionable tips helpful.
Yeah, it's definitely changed our life around.
Big time.
I mean, we went from dreading what our next day was going to be like and what our future looked like to now, we're now nervous and excited to see what happens.
Yeah, and feeling so much more joy, success, satisfaction on the daily. It's not the only thing I go through and feel because life is everything. But my life now is filled with higher vibrations instead of them just kind of being mixed in a little bit. When we think back on what we've done in our life and these last couple years, how we have used these things, we just wanted to make sure to share them with you. These are things that you can start doing on your own at any time. If you have any questions or you want to share your experience with co-creating with your soul, I always put the email in the description. Let us know what your thoughts are. What's going on in your life?
So if the tips we covered today really resonate with you and you're thinking, man, I really don't think I can remember them all, don't worry, we've got your back. We put together a booklet that you can download for free. We will put the link in our description below, and this will highlight all the 7 tips that we went over, plus have a bunch of extra resources for you to check out, some of mine and Maddie's favorite books, some other resources on our blog, and some podcasts to check out, as well as some services that could be helpful along your journey. It's a really fun read, and it can be a great, valuable, and powerful tool for you
It was such a blast to put together, and I'm so excited to share it with you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
We have found that co-creating our life with our soul has been one of the most life-changing decisions that we've ever made. We look forward to supporting you on your journey to creating magic in your life.
The biggest passion and calling in our lives is to help people start to tap into their soul self and co-create a life with your soul, develop your intuition along the way, to realize just how amazing you are and that you have all of these tools built into you. We've had a wonderful time. Until next week, take care, soul friends. We love you.
Mwah! Yeah, thanks so much for listening.